All right, bear with me, guys. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Zoom. So just let me coordinate here. We'll jump right in. I got some exciting stuff to talk about on, I know it sounds nerdy, but depreciation, taxes, a lot of cool stuff that you can show your clients to get them excited about the fact that they need to trade out into some other stuff. So let's make sure we remove that. Very good. All right, let's do this here. And since we are on Zoom, perhaps we can do this. Let's do this. Boop. And boop. There we go. Bam. A couple things I want to share with you today. Today is office hours. Every Friday, 10 a.m. we do office hours. You are welcome to join us. There we go. Technical difficulties. All right. Every Friday we do office hours. You're welcome to join us. And what we do is we talk about a topic, whatever we have in mind. Today we're talking about accelerated depreciation, cost segregation, bonus depreciation, all of the ways to make your clients more money. We're going to talk about that. But the whole point of this is that you can join us and ask questions. If you have questions, we can help you out here. And let me do this because I want to be able to see the chat. We need to, so I'll pop that back over here. Hopefully you can still see this, everybody. Like I said, today we'll talk about this. If you have any questions in the meantime, let us know. Let's jump into depreciation, right? So, depreciation. So in commercial real estate, you have improved property and you have the dirt, right? There is something called depreciation. So over the course of a certain period of time, in rental or multifamily property, it's 27 and a half years. In commercial property, so all other properties, the improved property will depreciate over 39 years. And what that means is I can write off as a taxable loss the improved value of the property. Okay, and this is important for you if you have income on property, right? If you have income that needs to be offset, depreciation is pretty darn important. Now, the problem with that is if I have a, let me see if I got this here. Yeah. So if I have a $10 million building and the land, because land isn't going to go away, right? It's not going to depreciate. Land is worth $500,000. That means I have $9.5 million in improved assets that I can then write off. Let's assume it's commercial over 39 years, right? So that was a tax write-off. That's a taxable loss. If you divide that by 39, that's a taxable loss of $243,000 every year, right? So if I make, $250,000 in income, I have a loss, a taxable loss of $243,000 that I can then offset that, and then I've got about $7,000 in income that I have to get taxed on, right? That's called straight line. That's what this number is, right? So depending on the type of property, that's what that'll do is you, over that period of time, you can write off the value of the property over that period of time. Let me check here. Okay. Now, Oh, bear with me. It says morning dust. Oh, I'm still a bit scratchy. Our audio is not fully functioning here. Let me see here. So you got a little note here on one of the services. Where's my audio? Yeah, well, it should be working fine. I don't know what we should do here. Oh, well, we'll carry on. Got any questions? Let us know. We'll get them answered. So on straight line, that is over the course of that period of time, you get to write off the improved value. That is a taxable loss. That's assuming that it deteriorates over time. You get to replace things. So that is going to end up depreciating or losing value over time. And that's how we offset it, is by claiming it as a taxable loss, right? And let me do this here. Present. Share screen. I got multiple things here. So we're going to move this over here from StreamYard. There we go. All right. So now everyone's seeing the same thing. So that's what's called straight line. Now we have a different way of doing things. Normally, people aren't really going to own property for 39 years. People do that. But if we're really looking to get the best return that we can get, we're going to try and front load a lot of that write-off into the first couple of years. How much can we do that? So then we're going to talk about these buckets. Hopefully you can see that. It's a little blurry, unfortunate. So you see there on that bucket on the left, that is the main straight line depreciation. That says over the course of the ownership of this property, it's going to deteriorate. And for commercial, that's over 39 years. Okay, so you divide your improved value by 39. That's how much you get to write off every year. That's what a lot of CPAs will do. Now we have something we can do called cost segregation. The different pieces of that property are going to depreciate over different periods of time. It's not all going to be 39 years. It's not all going to be 27 and a half years. Some of them can depreciate faster. In fact, a majority can depreciate faster than that. So what you do is you do a cost segregation study to pull out on paper all the different pieces of that property and put them in different buckets, as it were. You have a 5 or 7 year bucket. You have a 15-year bucket, or a couple of different 15-year buckets. There's a 20-year bucket, and then there's everything else, right? And we haven't even gotten to the exciting part yet. But the bucket for 5 or 7 years could be things like tangible personal property, would be stuff like appliances, right? If say you own multifamily, you've got a bunch of fridges on site. Those can be front loaded. The value of those can be front loaded. And guess what? If they're on a depreciation schedule that's pulled out and you redo all of them, let's say let's use a roof as an example, because that's one thing, right? So say one of the buildings, the roof needs to be replaced in the next 2 years or soon. You do the cost segregation study. They pull the roof off on paper as one thing. And that roof, then they say, yeah, it's got 10 years left. And here's how much that's worth. Okay. You need to front load that in 10 years left for that amount. But if you replace that roof in year 2, you still have 8 years left of that depreciation. Because that was replaced in year 2, you get to claim the balance, right? All the rest of that. And then you get to restart a new depreciation schedule for that brand new roof. Hopefully that makes sense. So that is one way of doing it. But again, you get to pull out on cost segregation, you get to pull out the different pieces into different buckets so that you can front load, usually between 7 and 15 years, a majority of those improvements. And then what ends up happening with most multifamily and commercial owners, we find that the different strategies we use, debt, these tax incentives, these end up, you end up not having as much of a return after about 3 or 5 or 7 years. So we start to trade out of these, or look for opportunity to trade out of these and into new property, more property, at an increased price point, right? That's usually what we'll do. And so as a broker, we're going in and we're saying, okay, here's the situation with your depreciation. This is all wiped out. You need to probably jump over to this other property, which is why, and here's why you should do that. Here's the new debt that you can get. Take advantage of the low interest rates now. Before, right, for instance, right now it's a election year, so we're keeping interest rates low so that it looks good for the incumbent. Likely that's going to adjust after the election. So take advantage of that now. Get a new property. Start taking advantage of more depreciation, right? Right. And that's so there's another thing. 2017 started sunsetting in last year, I believe. So right now it's 2024. So it said 100% of everything on these buckets, right? So you put them in different buckets. All of the different buckets that are 20 years or less, which is a majority of your property, was able to be written off in year 1 of service. And I'll show you an example of that. But that starts sunsetting by 20% each year. So 2023, that was 80% could be written off. 2024, it is now like 60%, and it's going to go down and down unless they redo it. Congress will do different things at different times depending on who's in power, and plays with stuff like this. So things like this have happened before, and then they sunset and then they redo it and they changed up. But that's what's in place right now. And I can show you an example right here, actually. So here's a client I closed last year. She said I can share this. This is a cost segregation estimate, as it were, right? So this is before you do it. It said, hey, based on what you're telling me, here's how we can pull things out. So you see there's the 5-year bucket and the 15-year bucket here, and the 39-year bucket, right? Based on Tax and Jobs Act, we can actually front load a lot more to that first year. And here's how that looks. Okay, so here's an example of that. Here's the write-off that you would get in year 1, which is $139,000, right? Now, what that does, if you break that down, $139,000, depending on your tax bracket, that could mean as much as $50,000 that you're not paying to Uncle Sam. So that's a $50,000 return in year 1, because that's money that isn't going to Uncle Sam because you have a write-off that offsets your income. And so what in real dollars, what that means is if they bought this for, close to, 800 and what was it, 962, and they put $150,000 into the property as a down payment, and they finance the rest. So say the money into the deal is $150,000, and I had them do one of these studies. These will cost about $5,000. And the taxable savings that they have in year 1 is $50,000. $50,000 into 150 is a 33% return in year 1, because they did one of these studies. Now look at all those other blue blocks down there. Those are a little over $20,000. So that's another $20,000 that's write-off. Let's see here, it's actually at 27, 23, 21, down to about 20, 18 to 20. So, $7,000, $8,000 in taxable savings. That's a return. That's a direct return. Now, that's not stuff that goes in your pocket, but that is an actual real return. That's money that you're not paying to Uncle Sam. That's money you're keeping in your pocket. So that's a real actual return on things by doing a depreciation study. Now you can see after year 15, a lot of things drop off, right? And things start to drop off. But because we front loaded, again, I guess because we front loaded a lot of the 15 and 5-year items to that first year to bonus depreciation, then that's not a lot. But that $18,000 every year, she can take it, or she can decide to cycle up to a new property at an increased price point and kind of restart that clock again to some degree. So what I'm telling you is you can look at an investment property and show someone like something like this and say, look, cash flow is a bonus. You do this write-off, and the income that you're getting will offset by 50,000 here additional cash flow year one. So that's cash flow after, not write-off income. That's actual money that you're keeping and not paying. So that's an actual $50,000 return that she's seeing year one. Right? And then there's more every year. So that's another $50,000 over the 5-year term after that. So that's pretty cool. And that's all I really wanted to talk about today. We've got a script here we can talk about, I guess, if you guys want. Basically you call someone and say, hey, I noticed you bought this so and so years ago. Is that correct? They say yes. So, well, the tax and there's a bonus depreciation rule that's about to expire. Have you taken advantage of that, or who is in charge of taking advantage of tax incentives at your group or company, right? And it's always going to be them because they're responsible. Cool. This tax bonus tax rules expiring in the next couple of years. Would you like to take a look at it to see if you qualify? Because we can actually go back in time a couple of years and probably get you a lot more money to offset your taxes. Would you be opposed to that, right? And they're going to say, no, it's not. Cool. Give me your books and records, right? Let's do that appointment one, because we do the 2-part appointment, right? Appointment 1, get books and records. Appointment 2, present BOV, show them why they should be trading out of the property and into something else, and secure the listing. And that's another way into to get that listing is present something like this. You're always calling with a reason to provide value to the person. That'll earn you the right for a couple more minutes on that conversation so that you can then propose that they get in front of you with their books and records. Is that it? That's it. All right. So remember, buckets. You should call a company. You look up cost segregation, bonus depreciation, anything like that on Google. You Google that. You'll come up with plenty of companies that can do these studies. The going rate for a cost segregation study, it's an engineering report. They're doing a lot of work on the back end, basically on paper, to identify what can be pulled out and put on different schedules. That'll cost about $5,000 right now. So hopefully this helps. I've got 10:18 my time. I'm going to give it a couple minutes. If you are not a member at Straight Talk Academy, if you're not part of our group, I welcome you to go there, join us. We've got over 50 hours of training, different classes on all kinds of topics: introduction, multifamily, retail, office, marketing, business development, all kinds of stuff. And then we do this every Friday. So if you're watching this outside of the group, it's because every now and then we share this outside the group. But every Friday we cover a topic, we answer questions, whatever you guys want, and we help people close deals. So I'm going to get another cup of coffee, and I will be right back. Let me know what questions you have. All right, hopefully you can hear me again. I'm not seeing any more questions. 10:20 my time. We'll go ahead and shut her down for today. If you guys would like to learn anything else, that is why we're here. That's why you're paying us. Let us know what topic you want to cover. It can be literally any commercial topic. You just let us know. We'll cover it next week. If I don't know enough about it to help, we bring in professionals in that industry, right? So hospitality, I can't really help with. I can speak to it, but if you have an interest in hospitality, let us know. We'll bring in. I've got plenty of people that I know very well who are experts. Been in hospitality over 30 years. We can do that. Just let us know. All right. We will see you guys next time.